Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Please ignore the fact that right now my face very clearly does not match my chest at all, not even close. I am wearing a foundation that is a little bit too dark for me, and normally I would get away with it, but clearly today's outfit choice is just betraying me. Yeah, so that is a thing that is going on right now. Anyway, for today's video, we're going to be reviewing the brand new Racy palette from W7. This is their latest release and it is a dupe for the Huda Beauty Naughty palette, which is always exciting. You guys know I love a bargain, I love a dupe. I just want to jump straight in today because it is absolutely roasting as always in my filming room, even though it seems that summer has ended over here in England. So there will be timestamps in the description box as always in case you guys want to jump ahead to any section of the video. I'm just going to do it in the usual format, so starting off with the description of the palette, I'm going to do swatches and then I will do a tutorial for this eye look inspired by Starzy Bear over on Instagram, and then after that we'll jump into my final thoughts on the palette. Before jumping into the video, I do just want to give a quick disclaimer that yes, W7 have sent me this palette in PR. However, W7 have not asked me to make this video or create any content around the palette. There's no money being exchanged. They don't even know I'm making this video. I just want to give you my thoughts on this palette and whether or not I think this one is worth it. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the details for this palette. So this is of course the Racy palette from W7, and the first thing that I'm going to have to say is that I absolutely love the packaging. I don't know what it is about it, but I think this might actually be one of my favorite ones that they've done so far. Very, very pretty. We're getting the same vibes as the original, but I think we're still different enough. I will put a picture up on the screen. I don't think this one is too similar. Just like with the Total Eclipse palette, which was the dupe for the Mercury Retrograde palette, this is an 18-pan pressed pigment palette, which retails for £9.50, which is extremely affordable when you put it next to the 56 or 58 pounds for the original palette. And once again, we are getting 18 grams in total in this palette, which is 1 gram per shadow, which gives us a cost per gram of just 50p per gram, which is extremely affordable. Again, when we compare this to the Naughty palette, we only have 16.1 grams of product in that one, so this one is actually slightly bigger, and it is the same as the Mercury Retrograde. It comes in at £3.60 per gram. This is definitely a bargain in comparison and very, very affordable, as is always the case with W7. As with most other W7 palettes, the packaging is made out of cardboard, and on the box, as always, we have our diagram with all of the shades individually numbered and the corresponding ingredient list over on this side of the palette. As this is a pressed pigment palette, we do have the messaging as always that this is not intended for use on the eye area, and our shelf life after opening, which is 18 months. When we open up the palette, as with previous palettes in this format, we do have a mirror as well as a double-ended brush, which you guys know I am never really fussed about. Even the mirror, if you saw my drugstore makeup video, in that one I do mention a barium bronzer in which they have mentioned that they've actually removed the mirror to make the packaging more recyclable, and I feel like this could be the case with more palettes at this point. So yeah, the mirror, the brush, really not that fussed about. And then these are the shades on the inside. The color scheme is identical to the Huda one as far as I'm aware. This one does come with the marbled shades, which we already saw in the pastel, what were they called, the soft hue palettes, which I'm never a massive fan of these marbled shades personally. I kind of wish people would stop putting them in palettes. I don't know why they're making a comeback at this point. And we also have the weird bubbly glossy formula, which I haven't tried yet, but that was in the original Huda palette, and W7 did decide to go ahead and include it. That is it for the details of the palette, so let's go straight into our swatches. I really thought a crop top was a good idea, but actually I've realized that all that's happening is that my back is in contact with the chair, so I'm just getting really hot and feeling gross. That is a detail you guys didn't need to know, but I'm really uncomfortable right now basically. Anyway, let's start off with our first row. The first shade is Playful. Then our first marble shade, which is Piquant. Well, I mean, I'd say Piquant. I don't know how it's meant to be pronounced. The next shade is Tempting. Then we have Salacious, Amorous, and Tactile. Is Tactile actually a matte shade? I think they've given us a matte marble shade. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's a little bit reflective on camera, but I can't tell. Can we take a moment for these two, for the metallics, because they are actually really, really pretty. They are so reflective. In fact, I'm almost wondering if I should lower the brightness. Would you guys see them better? Yeah, look at how reflective those are. They're really, really, really nice. Really nice. Moving on, we then have Vampish, Frisky, and Dreamy. Honestly, some of these shade names, I mean, I realise that was the whole point of the Naughty palette from Huda, that it was naughty. For W7, I feel like it has like a younger audience than maybe Huda does, so I'm a bit like, okay, W7. The swatches are pretty good. Pressed Pigment palette from W7. I expect my mattes to swatch pretty well, especially a dark colour like this one. I mean, that is gorgeous, but it's those metallics. Look at them. They're really, really nice. They are actually getting me excited. You guys know I'm always saying how metallics never get me excited, but look, just look at those. They're gorgeous. On to our next three mattes. We have Thrill, Yearning, Fluster. Now for the moment of truth, because I'm going into the glossy okay, that was really weird. That basically just feels like Vaseline. It's literally just like little balls of eyeshadow just in Vaseline. I feel like I expected that to be, I don't know, a little bit harder, like maybe a little bit more balmy. I can't imagine using that on the eye. All right, let's see what happens when we swatch it. So there we go, that is raw. That's a big rose. Yeah, it feels like Vaseline, basically. I wouldn't use it on my eye. Then next up is Stimulated. Look at that one. Tease. Then we have Voluptuous, Risque, and Wild. I have to say, out of the four marble shades, I think Voluptuous has definitely given us the nicest swatch, and then Risque underneath it is insane. Look at how beautiful and reflective that is, and again, Stimulated. I mean, listen, again, I normally complain about metallics, and I feel like my prayers have been answered on this one. They are gorgeous. Again, as well, the mattes have swatched really, really well. I know that swatches are not indicative of how something will perform on the eye, but as far as swatches go, this does look really nice. Maybe some of the best swatches that I've had in a while. The only exception being that raw shade, which I genuinely don't think I will ever use on my eye. But yeah, there we go. They're the swatches. They look amazing. All that's left to do is just to jump straight into the tutorial for this eye look. Alright guys, so I've gone ahead and primed my eyes with my P. Louise base. I've done the eyelid as well as the lower lash line. So we're just going to jump straight into the palette, and I'm going to go into the darkest shade, which is this one over here called Yearning. And I'm taking a Morphe M124 pretty much as always at this point. Oh, this looks like a lovely rich colour. I'm quite excited to get this on the eye actually. I feel like this is definitely way too bright, so before I do anything else, I am gonna lower that. Alright, hopefully that way you guys should actually be able to see what I'm doing. And, oh wow, okay, that is a really nice amount of pigmentation off the bat. To be fair, I did really dig my brush in, I think. I did pick up a lot of colour, but that is nice. And as always, I am just going to trace around my eyelid, around the crease even, and following the shape of my brow when I get to the outer half. And then I'm going to pick up some more. I'm going to come in underneath as well. This is definitely a lot more purple than I expected from the pan. I feel like I expected more of a burgundy, but I'm not mad because it is our deeper shade. So I'm just connecting the two lines up. I'm going to pack a little bit on the outer corner as well. And then I'm going to take my Zoeva 231 and come and blend in a little bit, try and make sure it's nice and even. Yeah, I definitely think I picked up a bit too much at the beginning because I've got a patch. You can see where the colour initially went on, but actually I think I'm managing to blend it out. Okay, yeah, that is a really nice shade actually. Okay, so I would definitely say don't pick up as much product as I did on the first go. You will end up with it getting stuck, which again is a little bit of a shame, but I feel like I'm gonna be able to blend most of that out, hopefully anyway. Other than that, it's a really nice shade. I really didn't have to dip my brush back in all that much. Yeah, really nice pigmentation on that first shade. If the rest of the palette carries on like this, then we are off to a great start. Okay, next I think I'm gonna go into the shade Vampish, which is over here, which is another lovely deep shade. It looks like it's picking up really well again, so I'm not gonna go quite in as heavy as I did with the first one. And I've taken a clean Zoeva 231. I guess let's see what happens if I try to blend then. Okay, right now as I'm laying down the colour, I have to say it almost looks like it's darker than the first shade, which is a little bit odd. So I'm just building it up pretty slowly. Yeah, I feel like maybe I was expecting the first two shades to look a little bit more different. They are blending, but yeah, they kind of look very similar on the eye. Yeah, I feel like blending wise it's working. I'm just really not seeing that difference in colour. It to me really just looks like I've used the same colour twice. So maybe that is a tiny bit disappointing. Alright, I do want to try and switch things up a little bit with the colours. So I'm going to go over to this side of the palette and I'm going to go into the shade Fluster. And I'm taking a Morphe M456. Let's see what happens when I try to blend now. Ooh, okay, I think this could be really nice actually. Again, that is some lovely pigmentation on this shade, especially considering that I'm picking it up with a much softer brush. Okay, the blend does feel a little bit weird on the outer corner as I'm trying to take it out into a bit more of a point. I'm going to try and fix that in a second. But at the front, I really like how it looks. We do have some patchiness here, which is where I expected it to be, because that is where I just added way too much product at the beginning. But other than that, I do really like the blend of colours together. So yeah, we'll see if we can try to make things look a little bit better, a little bit neater. So I'm now just going to go back through those shades from darkest to lightest, just to try and even that blend out a little bit more. Alright, this is looking super dark and dramatic and I'm kind of really here for it. I think I do just want to try and soften the edges out just a little bit, so I'm gonna go into Amorous over here, which is pretty much one of our lightest shades. The only other one is Playful up here, which is more of a pink. I'm just taking a clean Morphe M456 for that, and I'm just gonna run it along the edges and really just soften that out. Alright, I'm going to leave the crease here. It's looking very vampy, very dramatic. This bit underneath definitely needs a little bit of cleaning up because right now it is pretty messy, but as always I will just do that when I do my foundation off camera later on. I just really want to jump into some lid shades, and right now the one that is calling my name is this one, which is Risque. This one looks like it could be pretty creamy. Or it might not be, I'm really not sure. So I'm gonna try with the brush first and we're just gonna see what happens. I'm gonna take a Morphe M166. Ooh, okay, that seems to be picking up really well. That does look quite creamy and quite chunky on the lid, but I don't know, let's see what happens. Ooh, okay, that is... okay, right, very chunky. You guys just saw that fallout. That is definitely going to be something to be very aware of, but that is a stunning shade. Look at how reflective that is. Like, when you hear me moan about metallics and how sometimes they're not super exciting, this is more what I'm after. It's just catching the light. It doesn't even have like a micro glitter to it or anything. It is literally just catching the light as I move my eye. And that is really pretty. Really pretty. I'm trying to decide which shade I want at the front of the eye, and honestly it's really difficult. I think I'm gonna try Tempting, which again looks like it could be a very creamy formula. Yeah, maybe. I'm trying my Morphe M224. Oh yeah, you guys can see it's just kind of pressing in and it's not picking up that much. So again, I'm gonna try it with the brush. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, definitely that more creamy formula. Can you see it? I mean, it's going on beautifully, but it's not going on enough. So I'm gonna go in with my finger. Oh, wow, okay. That is just a lovely shade. Gonna bring it backwards a little bit. Oh wow. Because it is one of these more creamy shades, I think you would probably struggle putting it on a cut crease, but like this, oh, that is absolutely stunning. That is really, really lovely. I'm really, really impressed by that. I'm just gonna take the Zoeva 231 that I used for yearning. Could do with something a little bit darker. I could do with a black here. I've just picked up some more of yearning just to try to blend in a bit. Let's see if maybe I layer up a little bit of yearning on the outer corner. Oh wow, yeah. Okay, this is pretty. Sorry if I end up sounding a little bit repetitive. Yeah, these shades are gorgeous. I kind of want to try more shades. Listen, I am thinking that maybe I should try one of the marble shades, even though I'm not actually a fan of them, but I think I just want to see what voluptuous looks like, so I'm just going to go straight in with my finger. Ooh, okay, that is a lot more metallic. Maybe I'll pop it just here in the middle. I think I was almost expecting the more marbled shades to be very glittery, but no, not the case. Very reflective, very, very beautiful. I'm just gonna take a bit more of Tempting and pop it back on top. So yeah, your marbled shades are metallics, and then the other ones, listen, I don't know why I'm even trying to describe it because I'm lost for words and you guys can see it happening live in front of you anyway. There is something a little bit odd about the blend up here though, isn't there? It's not the smoothest I've ever had. I'm just going to take my M456 again. I've definitely had a better experience with some of their mattes before, but in terms of those shimmers and those metallics, that is gorgeous. I'm just going to try and use a little bit of Risque on an M512, just on the lower lash line. And then again, a little bit of Tempting at the front. Yeah, I would definitely need to go in with a finger to get a nicer effect, but it's okay. It's on the lower lash line, so I'm not too fussed. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more of my P. Louise base on a clean Zoeva 231, just because I want my inner corner to really pop, and I'm blending it out just so I've got like a nice thin layer. And now I'm going to go into the shade Stimulated over here. I'm just taking the pencil brush that came in the Tokyo brush set. Definitely again a little bit creamy, as I was struggling to pick that up, but I'm just going to pop that on top of the base. Oh, that looks like liquid metal. That is very, very pretty. I think with the same brush, I'm also going to go into the shade Dreamy, which is the marbled shade. And I'm just trying to pick up just from the lighter part of the marbling. Just want to add a little bit more light. Yeah, I really, really, really like that. All right, that is a lot of fallout today. So, as is often the case, for me, this is really one that I'm always gonna use before doing my foundation. That is literally it for the eyeshadow. I feel like this has gone really, really quickly, but I do feel like it is super, super effective. I mean, again, look at those metallics and those shimmers. So I'm just gonna go and do the lid on the other eye, and then I'll come back and we'll finish off the eye look together. All right, so I've just gone ahead and finished the look on this eye. As you can see, I've gone for a very, very dramatic graphic liner, which is inspired by Stasi Bear over on Instagram. She hasn't actually posted the picture of this look over on her Instagram, so unfortunately I can't link it. Do make sure that you check her out because she has got some incredible makeup skills. So I am just gonna go into my jade liner from Shein Cosmetics. I'm gonna start off with my wing. And then I'm going to come in on top. And then I'm gonna add some underneath. And then I'm gonna add one last line going all the way above. Okay, I am absolutely certain that they don't match, but that is fine because I also feel like incredibly vampy. This is just giving me like all the Halloween vibes right now. I'm really here for it. The other thing that I did, literally just to finish things off, was just to take my Revlon So Fierce vinyl eyeliner in Righteous Rum, and I'm just gonna pop that on the waterline. Alright, there we go. That is literally it for the eye look. I definitely feel like the liner has kind of covered up any sins that I might have had where the blend was looking maybe a little bit patchy. And now you can just see the liner and then the metallic shades on the lid, and I'm really here for them. They look absolutely stunning. So I'm just gonna go and finish off the rest of the look, and then we'll come back and have a chat about my final thoughts on the palette. I just filmed the whole intro and then realized that I had forgotten to add on my gem, and also that one of my eyelashes was lifting off in the inner corner. So apparently that's just the kind of day that it is today. Yeah. There we go. Anyway, as always, all of the products that I've used are listed and linked down below. And without further ado, let's actually jump in to my final thoughts on this palette. So I have to say that when W7 first announced that they were launching this palette, I definitely had mixed feelings on it. On the one hand, you guys know that I love affordable beauty, so I was really happy to see another dupe from them. Now, the Naughty palette isn't necessarily one that I was particularly excited about in the first place. I probably would have liked to see some other dupes from them first, like maybe some Urban Decay dupes, because I've been waiting for the Ultraviolet dupe for a while now. And also, we literally only 2 weeks ago, I think, had the release of the Tokyo palette, and then it really doesn't feel like it was that long before that we had the Mardi Gras palette. So I did just feel like it was maybe a little bit too much in one go. It feels like they're ramping up their releases to a revolution speed, and yeah, that I wasn't here for so much. I do like things to be a little bit slower. I like us to be able to enjoy our releases. Now that I've tried the palette out, I'm actually pretty excited for it. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I don't think I would quite go as far as saying that this is my favorite W7 palette. I did have a few issues here and there with the mattes. I feel like I definitely want to play with it some more, maybe try going from lightest to darkest instead, see if I have a better time with that. But when it comes to the metallics, guys, I am so excited, especially when you consider that in the Tokyo palette, the metallics that I struggled with the most were the purple and the red. It's like we've done a complete 180 here. These metallics are stunning, and I'm really excited about them. I think if I had to rank the latest W7 palettes that I've tried, I think the best one would have to be the Mardi Gras palette in terms of mattes. I had a great experience with that one. I didn't have any issues blending, but then in terms of the metallics, this just comes out at the top for me. These are lovely. My favorite one definitely has to be Risque down here. Absolutely gorgeous, and it worked amazing with a brush, so I feel like you can get it to work with a cut crease. Clearly not gonna work with a brush, but it just went on fantastic with a finger. Yeah, I was really impressed. I mean, the shade Raw, I kind of, you know, I'd almost be happier if they'd replaced Raw with another marble shade. Like, I'm never gonna use this, I don't need this, but I mean, as far as Huda dupes go, I really like this. And you know what? I think I will go as far to say that I can imagine this becoming my go-to palette this autumn and then into Christmas, because yeah, these metallics, I'd be quite happy wearing them on Christmas Day. I think I will get a fair amount of use out of this. So yeah, really didn't expect this today. Kind of went into this thinking, I don't know what look I'm gonna do. I'm not feeling super excited about this palette, and I've come out the other side maybe a little bit mind blown. Is that going too far? No, I think I am a little bit mind blown. And if you guys have been wanting a dupe for the Huda palette, if you cannot justify the almost £60 leaving your bank account, I don't blame you, that is a lot of money. I do really like this one. So that is it for today's video, guys. I do hope, as always, that you enjoyed it and that you found it helpful and informative. If you did, then do please make sure to give it a big thumbs up, leave me a comment letting me know what you thought of it, and if you haven't already, then make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye, guys!